Welcome back to the True Crime Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Ashba. We're going to be talking about the tragic death of Dr. Spencer Tepe and Monique Tepe. This occurred in Columbus, Ohio. That's where I live. And this happened on December 30th of 2025 in Winland Park neighborhood, which is just south of the Ohio State campus. And Spencer and Monique Tepe were found shot to death in their own home. They have two young children, ages 4 and 1, and they were inside the home at the time and a family pet, but miraculously none of those were harmed, just the husband and wife. So this is probably going to be a multi-part podcast on these, but let's talk about the crime itself. This happened at 1411 North 4th Street. So just to give a little background what went on, because this is very recent. It's made national news. So for those who may be not familiar with it. So, you have two, husband and wife, two children. The husband, Spencer, was 37. Monique was 39. And the crime happened between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. The police were called to do a home welfare check. When they arrived, they found both Spencer and Monique deceased with gunshot wounds. There was no signs of forced entry, and there was no weapon on the scene. And supposedly, the husband didn't have guns in the house. Surveillance footage found a person of interest walking near the house in the early morning hours. Now, who was it? The investigation unfolded, and they arrested a 39-year-old Michael David McKee, a vascular surgeon from Illinois. What would a vascular surgeon from Illinois be doing in Columbus, Ohio? It was the ex-husband of Monique Tepe. He was charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder. Divorced like 10 years ago. I think it was in 2017 that was officially divorced. A couple years before that, you separate, etc. And he's had some weird background, involved in a medical malpractice lawsuit, and was verbally abusive. They were only married for 7 months. So obviously there was something going on there. So let's transition and let's talk a little bit about the house. So the house was located on 1411 North 4th Street in Columbus, Ohio. This house was just located south of the Ohio State University, home of the Buckeyes, in Winland Park. It's north of downtown, south of campus. It's a mix of like historic homes, I know it pretty well because that's where I'm from, and newer builds. This area was seen as more revitalization, new developments, and a lot of older homes converted. So the house itself, it was a 2-story single-family home. It was built in 2020. It's a single-family home, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, 2,500 square foot house. Very modern. Small lot, new construction, gorgeous looking home. It doesn't look like it would be 2,500 square foot, but it's very long and deep. A lot of people call it the shotgun homes because if you shot a shotgun through the front door, it'd go all the way out the back door. This home had a small front porch, fenced backyard, 2-car garage. The home was very well kept. The interior layout had a first and second floor. The first floor was a very open concept living. Dining area, modern kitchen in the rear, half bathroom on the main floor, hardwood floors. The second floor is where all the bedrooms were located. And I believe that is where the individuals were shot. There was no forced entry. So obviously the perpetrator had to either come in the front or the back door, more than likely, because they didn't see any windows open or broken. The 3 full bathrooms were on the second floor. The home was purchased by Spencer in 2020 as new construction for $487,500. Why does this house matter to the story? From a true crime narrative perspective, 1, there was no forced entry. Someone was obviously let in, or they already had access, or they entered unknowingly. The children were present, which is so sad, and their bedrooms were on the second floor, very close to where the murders happened. And this is a typical suburban neighborhood, comfortable, modern. So why does this house matter to this story? One, there was no forced entry. Someone was either let in, already had access, or they entered in the house unknowingly earlier in the day. The kids were present too for the murder, which is really sad. And they were likely in their bedrooms where the murders happened. This is a very typical suburban neighborhood, just like a lot of podcasts that we talked about, like Chris Watts. That's a nice neighborhood, pretty normal. And there were a lot of neighborhood cameras, which probably led to the arrest of the ex-husband. So back to the house, 1140. So let's talk a little bit about the home statistics. This home is located in what we call the University District, which is just south of the Ohio State University. Average home prices in that area are around $369,000. This home, when it was sold back in 2020, was just under $500,000. Today's value, this home would be worth around $563,000. The Tepes probably weren't buying that home for their children because there's not a large backyard and the schools aren't the greatest. They feed into the Whetstone High School area, which is a 4 out of 10 on Zillow and Realtor.com. The Tepe murders are a grim reminder that danger can lurk anywhere, even in your new, beautiful, modern home. As the case moves towards trial, a lot of questions still remain. What was the motivation of this crime? If you have any idea what you think, please put them in the comments below. The Tepe murders are just a grim reminder that danger can lurk in the most familiar places. As the case moves closer to trial, a lot of questions still remain. What was the motivation? Why, after 10 years of being divorced from this woman, would you want to come back and kill her? The house at 1411 stands as a monument to the family's life, and it'll probably be a crime scene for many weeks to come. Episode of the True Crime Real Estate Podcast. Join us next week for another chilling story about a house maybe near your neighborhood. If you like what you hear, make sure you like and subscribe and tell your friends, and we'll see you all very soon.